By now you've probably heard of the infamous $9 trillion AI money flywheel that has been making headlines this week. And so right after the intro, I'm just gonna quickly graze over this $1 trillion money flywheel, and I'm gonna give you our outlook, our exact scenarios and target zones for the three most important companies in this huge money scheme, Microsoft, Nvidia and Oracle, because only for one of them do we still see substantial headroom to grow, and for two of them, the party is over. Hello and welcome to another video by HKCM Global. My name is Joe. This week, at least in the Nasdaq, it started off rather well, but it went downhill from here rather quickly. And at least for me, the biggest topic of the week that I learned that made headlines was the $9 trillion AI money flywheel. Way too long of a name, no question there, but in case you haven't seen it, I'm gonna quickly graze over it before we're gonna dive into our scenarios for the three most important companies here. So basically, it is a whole conglomerate of companies that feed one another with services, investments, hardware for software of course, and then in return venture capital. And not all of it, but most of it fueled by promises of future profits and not so many profits in the meantime already. So for many of them, it's really just fueled by hopes and dreams. And so first of all, in the center of all of it is Nvidia, the provider of GPUs and of hardware bits to Microsoft, OpenAI, also to Oracle. OpenAI then provides services to Oracle, to Microsoft and to other companies, while some of them reinvest in OpenAI and the other way around. So it's basically a huge scheme of shuffling money from one side to the other, purchasing products from one another, while in many cases there isn't any huge profits being made yet, and there isn't really a clear end customer there. And this whole system is rather fragile, at least if you ask me, and also in the eyes of many critics of the system, because you all do remember the DeepSeek moment from a couple of months back, when this Chinese company used a couple of spare GPUs basically, and for a fraction of the cost that OpenAI had developing their most cutting-edge GPT models, they also pumped out a large language model completely free of charge, flooded the market. Of course, it wasn't completely up on par, on eye level with the most cutting-edge OpenAI tool. However, it was like 95-98% of the way there. And for most consumers, let's be honest, that's enough. Especially if the one tool is free and the other costs you a fortune. And who is to say that this DeepSeek shock was only a once in a lifetime and isn't just a harbinger of things to come and to repeat in the future? Because the way I see it is the following. This whole scheme here and this whole evaluations that you currently see in the markets for companies like OpenAI, like Microsoft, like Nvidia, like Oracle, AMD, xAI, and so on, they stand on the foundation of those companies. And at the end of the day, the AI powerhouses inside this scheme, so OpenAI and xAI mainly, those companies need to maintain and even increase their lead on runners-up, need to maintain and increase their lead on companies out of China and other parts of the world. Because if we see a repeat of the DeepSeek moment, companies out of China or other competitors closing in, providing software at 95-98% capability at a fraction of the cost, then pricing power slips out of the hands of those huge AI companies, and as soon as they lose the pricing power, they will in return not be able to purchase Nvidia chips, most cutting-edge Nvidia chips at premium prices. And so this whole system comes falling down the second these most cutting-edge frontiers of AI development decrease their lead on the runners-up. And that can happen any moment. So this system, at least to me, looks even more fragile than many in the market do expect at this point in time. So that's why I'm right now give you our outlook as promised on Nvidia, Microsoft and Oracle. And we're gonna start off with Oracle. Because in this potential collapse of this AI money flywheel, Oracle is the one furthest advanced. So Oracle, back in September, 9th of September this year, just one day before the Charlie Kirk assassination, Oracle announced their huge multi-billion-dollar deal with OpenAI, and we saw a 36% jump in market value in just a single day. And that wasn't it. So the days to follow brought even more gains at a total of 50 50% in just the matter of, what are we talking about? 2 days, basically. 50% in just 2 days. But I mean, what happened since? So right now, what you can see is right now we already obliterated every single gain that has been made since then. We are back at the exact same level. So top to current levels, we already lost 30%. And what we see here in the market, the structure is clear. That's not all. It's probably more of just a beginning. So probably 2026, next year around, Larry Ellison not gonna be the richest man in the world, mark my words. So because the long-term outlook here on the weekly chart for Oracle, before we spoke about the 4-hour chart, here on the weekly chart, so long-term outlook, what you can see here is that in the grand scheme of things, we conclude that on a market basis, we have seen the high for the wave 3 back in December of 2024. We've seen a rapid and steep wave 4 corrective wave, and we have seen a violent wave 5 extension here into this overreaching wave 1 top, which we have seen again in September of 2025, just 2 days after the announcement of this huge OpenAI deal. And if such an announcement gets completely sold off in a matter of just the next following weeks, this is a brittle market structure. And so what we have to conclude is that this, which I just showed you here, is just the beginning. We are right here in our wave count, only in the very middle of the extended wave 3 of a 5-wave move downward, meaning there is still quite a bit of room to go. Overall, in the wave A, which we see already diving into our long-term target zone here, roughly at $170-ish, we are talking about another 29-30% down here, and only at these levels do we currently expect another relief rally before we will see another prolonged sell-off deeper into our target zone, and only then finalizing the overreaching wave 2 low in the market, laying the foundation for prolonged gains, hopefully another bull market here for Oracle. But all of this hype and overextension has to be cleared out of the system. We have to get a reset for another healthy foundation of another bull market, because bull markets formed on a brittle substructure can only last so long, and we do believe that for Oracle, party is over. No question about it. This is our clear primary scenario. No more party here for Oracle. It is over. Nvidia then. What's the story? Somewhat different, but a bit delayed back into the future. Because what we have seen here for Nvidia ever since our pretty successful target zone, because if I start just here from the middle of the target zone up until the top, that's 130% of gains, up until current levels over 100% of gains. So quite successful target zone here, quite a nice entry. So out of this target zone, which marked a wave 4 low here in the market, we have seen a wave 1, 2, a prolonged extended wave 3 here, a shallow wave 4, and another short wave 5 to complete this overreaching wave 3, to be followed by a wave 4, which is right now already in as well. And in our primary scenario, another higher high for the overreaching wave 5 to only then conclude the overreaching wave 5 of the overreaching wave 1. And so then taking you to our more long-term outlook becomes even more clear, because we also do have a secondary scenario. So primary scenario is the very same that I just explained to you on the 4-hour chart, but we also do have a secondary scenario, only at a 25% probability. But on a mere technical basis, it is there, and the price action of the last days even increases this danger of the alternative scenario to being formed. And so then in this alternative scenario, we would already have seen the wave 5 high of the overreaching wave 1 here, and we would already be in the very early stages of this sell-off to, from current levels, take us all the way down to 50, potentially even 63% down. 63 would then here be our optimum target at the 61.8 FIB retracement, roughly in the area of $70. So same story as with Oracle, huge sell-off in a wave 2. So a huge overreaching corrective wave, correcting this prolonged wave 1 bull market, which we have seen starting all the way back in 2022. And that looks shocking, but I mean, let's be real, guys, here. So starting off from, we're gonna start from, beginning of year 2023. So not even 36 months, 34 months at this point in time, less than 3 years. We have seen a total of 1,500% in the top. What are we talking about? That's double the performance of Bitcoin. I can name only a few altcoins that rival this performance here of Nvidia, a huge Nasdaq company, an S&P 500 company. What are we talking about here? You can't tell me that a bull market like this is not maybe overhyped or overextended. Something like this has to be corrected at some point in time. If we see a rally like this, it never occurs that the market just rallies there and then levels off, stays there, and then starts off to another rally. That doesn't happen. That's not how markets operate. So a deep correction has to come in here. Will it happen in a matter of only a short few months, or will it happen in the matter of 1 to 2 years even? I don't know. But it will come, and we do believe it might already have started yet, or it is about to start very soon as we climb higher into our target zone here. And by the way, the exact price targets for this target zone we do have on our dashboard, link down there in the description. We also do give out push notifications and real-time alerts as soon as we change our scenarios. We give entries to our model portfolio to all of our customers. And so here in this free video, I'm afraid I cannot share the exact coordinates for this target zone, but in this target zone here, we will definitely prepare a short for Nvidia, because at this point in time the risk is definitely to the upside and not to the downside. All right then, so that leaves only one company with more headroom to go, because remember in the beginning I told you 3 important companies. For 2 of them the party is over. Oracle, party over. Nvidia here, party over. So that then leaves only Microsoft with still a few hours to go until midnight. So that's why we are jumping into Microsoft right now. And in the grand scheme of things, you probably notice that again, it looks rather similar. Remember, with Oracle, the wave 1 high is in. With Nvidia, it could be in, but probably it's gonna be in a couple of weeks or trading sessions. For Microsoft, the wave 1 top still probably a couple of weeks, maybe months even down the road. So still quite a bit of headroom to go. In our primary scenario from current levels, that would be another 35%, maybe even 40% roughly. So substantial gains to be made here. But latest at this point in time, it becomes the same story. Wave 1 top in, wave 2 to follow. So of course, because Microsoft has been rather tame in their rally, the sell-off will not be as violent and as sharp as for Nvidia and Oracle, but still a substantial sell-off. We are still talking about a wave 2 sell-off to follow this huge overreaching wave 1 top. So this is not a sell-off that will happen in a matter of days and weeks. Gonna be a huge prolonged sell-off, substantial sell-off with potentially, yeah, I don't know, 50%, something like that. That of course will be further defined as we go along, and we will keep you updated both on our dashboard, perfectly in time as soon as it happens, and in due time also here on this channel. I will not let you here hanging in without any updates. I will also give you updates here in this channel completely free of charge. Only thing I can tell you, I fear, is exact coordinates like for long target zones, as in this case here for Microsoft here on the 3-hour chart. We are preparing a long entry to participate here in this run up that I showed you here for the overreaching wave 5 of the overreaching wave 5 for the grand wave 1 to conclude. But the overall updates I will share here on this channel in due time with you completely free of charge, because for Microsoft especially, I am rather proud of our track record. I mean, look at all of those target zones. Perfect hit for a short. This one, okay, forget about it. Perfect entry for a long, another perfect entry for a long, another perfect entry for a long, great entry for a long. This one, yeah, I mean, medium term long entry. And then this one especially, starting from mid of April. And here starting not from the optimum entry, but just from the upper boundary of our target zone, mid of April until end of July. That's almost 60% of gains in a company like Microsoft. This is no small tech startup. This is Microsoft. 60% of gains in 2.5 months. What a target zone, what an entry. And so with this track record in my backpack, I'ma also share the updates here with you in due time as promised. So then up until the next one, take care, bye bye.